Hello everyone. In this class, I am going to teach you about electronic liability ledger. In the previous class, I explained about electronic cash ledger and electronic credit ledger. Please watch that class first and proceed with this one. Now we will see what is the electronic liability ledger. The electronic liability ledger is a critical component of the GST portal. Means it is a critical component of the GST portal and it tracks all your tax liabilities. It tracks this electronic liability ledger tracks all your tax liabilities, means all your payment of any GST or any interest or penalties or any other fees. Think of it as a virtual book that tracks all your tax liabilities. Means whether you are paying GST, interest, penalties or any other dues, this ledger keeps a record of it all. Means it contains all the record of your GST liabilities or interest, penalty or any other dues. Now we will see the features of electronic liability ledger. First one is real-time updates. It means what? Every time you file a return or make a payment. Every time you file a return or make a payment, the ledger updates instantly. Fine? Means every time you file a return or make a payment, this electronic liability ledger updates all the records instantly. That's why we will call it as a real-time updates. And second one is detailed breakdown. Means it shows a breakup of all your liabilities like CGST, SGST, IGST, interest and penalties. It shows all the record of or breakup of your liabilities. And third one is permanent record. It means what? It serves as a historical record of all liabilities for future reference. Means it contains all the records of your payment or payment of GST liabilities or payment of any interest fees for what? For your future reference. Okay, these are the features of electronic liability ledger. They are real-time updates, detailed breakdown and permanent record. Now we will see how to access the electronic liability ledger. How to access the electronic liability ledger. First step is what? First we have to log into the GST portal. First we have to log into the GST portal and after that we have to navigate to the service tab and click on ledgers and select the electronic liability ledger. First we have to log into GST portal and after that navigate to the service tab, click on ledgers and select electronic liability ledger. And in electronic liability ledger, you can view your liabilities for different tax periods in a detailed manner. Here now let's take a simple example to understand how the electronic liability ledger works. Suppose you are a registered taxpayer under GST. For the tax period of December, your total GST liability is rupees 30,000. Means which includes total GST liability, that is rupees 30,000, which includes CGST rupees 10,000, SGST is rupees 10,000 and IGST rupees 10,000, totally rupees 30,000. Now what we have to do? Once you file your return, this rupees 30,000 liability will be recorded in your electronic liability ledger. Once you file your return, this rupees 30,000 liability, it will be recorded in your electronic liability ledger. And now to clear this amount of rupees 30,000 or this liability, you decide to make a payment using your electronic cash ledger. Now you have to make the payment of rupees 30,000. For that you have to use your electronic cash ledger. Let's say you deposit rupees 30,000 into the cash ledger. In the electronic cash ledger class, I have explained in a very detailed manner. Please watch that class. See, in first what happens once you file your return, this rupees 30,000 recorded in your electronic liability ledger, and now to clear this liability, you decide to make a payment using your electronic cash ledger. For that, what is the first step? Means you have to deposit rupees 30,000 into the cash ledger, and when you initiate the payment, rupees 10,000 is debited to settle CGST. Like that, rupees 10,000 that is debited to settle SGST, and rupees 10,000 is debited to settle IGST. So once the payment is processed, your liability in the ledger will reduce to 0, and the balance in your cash ledger will also reflect the debit. Once the payment is processed, your liability in the ledger will reduce to 0, because here you have make the payment of rupees 30,000. So your liability in the ledger will reduce to 0 balance, and the balance in your cash ledger will also reflect the debit. So this seamless adjustments is what makes the electronic liability ledger such an efficient tool for GST complaints. Okay, this is about electronic liability ledger. I hope this concept is clear to you all. If not, please leave a comment. Thank you.